good.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Oh,
should be
5
good.
people already. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chat, guys. Welcome to the stream. Been long. Been way too long since we did one of these. Yeah, tell me, what's your question, buddy? Baruch Burke, GD. Why is your server called Anti-Society Club? I mean, maybe it's time to change that name. I don't know. Cause like in the early days, we did like a lot of just like railing against modern society kind of content. But now it's more just about work specifically, although society still too. Yeah, that's why it's called that. The stream hasn't okay, there we go. Looks like we're live now. What's up? What's up? That's pretty cool. Yeah, so we're doing no ads on this video, period, guys. No ads. Just I know y'all are bombarded with ads all the time, and every YouTube video has like, 3, 4, 5 ads these days. Sorry, we got to make a living somehow too. But I did decide I will give you guys a break from ads for this live stream. So yeah, enjoy this ad-free, peaceful experience. No having to click that skip button. YouTube has been known sometimes to shaft people, like you don't have monetization on and then there's an ad anyway. So if any of you get an ad, definitely let me know, and I'm gonna have to put in a support ticket to YouTube support. But yeah, no ads, totally 100% free live stream. I mean, all my content's free anyways, but it's not really free because I get ad money, but it's free on your end. But to all these boomers and corporate chills who keep saying nothing in life is free, well, eat this live stream. Because not only, this is so free, guys. Not only do we not only is it free for you to watch, we're not even making any money from this. Totally free, no ads experience. Okay. Honest opinion on ads. Well, unfortunately, like we have to make a living somehow. I think it's gotten too much. I mean, I definitely think like, how they have like 4 or 5 ads in some video. I don't know how many ads are in my own videos, by the way. I think it's 2. I think we place 2 ads in one video, so I hope that's not too overwhelming, but yeah, let me know. Og King, I'm great. How are you, buddy? I think I'm gonna make a video about the dog walking business you just sent me. We talked about this on Discord. Yeah, I'll give you a shout out. Hopefully, get your channel a little boost. And also, I recommend you document your journey on YouTube with this dog watching business you planned. I think it has a lot of potential. Definitely better than this. Like, I saw this recent video where some guy actually you sent it to me actually, where some guy made like 300,000 just picking up dog shit. And in that moment I was like, yo, so this dog shit wages thing isn't a meme anymore. Like dog shit literally pays more than wages at this point. Thank you, Hongzhou, for saying I'm an amazing YouTuber. Really means a lot. You're weirdly inspirational to me. Oh, and the angry guy. Welcome, Miss K. Wow. From the early days. Got a lot of people from the early days still sticking around. Yeah, so since I started this angry guy catch-up thing, basically there's still quite a gap now, but we're gaining ground on him really fast. And once we overtake him, I believe it'll happen like before the end of summer. That'll be a true moment. Like that'll be the moment, like, Gen Z takes down the biggest Gen Z hater, basically. Hey guys. 2 ads isn't annoying if it wasn't for the fact that I get 2 50-second unskippable ads on my TV. Yeah. I know. I watched the Y-Files video the other day, one of my favorite YouTubers, and well, he puts out like 1 hour long videos, to be fair, but yeah, it was like 3, 4, 5 ads there. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Okay, getting more and more. By the way, say hi to my editor, Chris. We're doing the live stream together. Technically, it's his gameplay. It's me speaking here, but he's here too. He's like a Gen Z guy, 20-something-year-old, like a lot of you. So, any of you want an actual Gen Z young guy's perspective, feel free to ask him. I do my best to keep in touch with all of you and with everything that's going on. But sometimes, you know, I have my boomer moments too, being a millennial. Okay. Yeah, man, because the lawnmower of my mother broke down, I need to find a side hustle I can make while being homeless, lol. I'm trying to find loopholes such as using the library to build my okay, I'm guessing build your business. Yeah, your Roblox game. Yeah, do that. Like, I don't know, guys. The advice. So a lot of you ask me questions. Okay, should you go for a job, or like should you try this side hustle, pursue this dream, try to become an artist, try to start YouTube, etc. Like, the reason, traditionally speaking, the advice was always go to school, get a job, take the safe route. Like, the reason that advice made sense, traditionally speaking, was because the chasing your dreams route was riskier but potentially higher reward, but the traditional route was less like high reward but a lot less risky. However, with how crap the job market is now, the whole risk aversion element of going the traditional route is out the window, right? So it's like the whole point of going the traditional route to begin with is gone now. So there's literally no reason. I can't think of any reason to not like pursue your passions in this job market. I'm not talking about in a good job market. I'm talking about this job market. It's like, okay, if it's like, you know, a 1% chance you'll make it on YouTube, yeah? Which, given what I know about YouTube, I'd say that's about right. But you all have done the traditional job market. You know how it is. You apply to 100 jobs, you get one answer. So it's like a 1% chance you'll get a job at Walmart at this point. And it's a 1% chance you'll make it on YouTube. Well, at least you make it on YouTube, you get to do what you enjoy and potentially really make it big. Whereas you have the same dog shit 1% chance of getting a job pushing carts at Walmart, and there's no potential of ever doing something you enjoy. So, oh wow, super chat, thanks already. Okay, for a question. Thanks for the tip, by the way, appreciate it. I made this live stream specifically free, no ads, so donations are appreciated, but don't feel obligated. I mentioned my abandoned mall and as housing in HQ. I would love to see a video about that. Can I VC you live? I'm not really on Discord right now. It might be complicated for me to do a live video call right now, but next live stream for sure. We'll get it set up to where I can have you there. I think I replied to you on Discord because we were talking on Discord, but I get a lot of messages from a lot of people on Discord. Sometimes they get buried. I haven't been great about managing Discord. I'm sorry, guys, if you've been trying to reach me there. I started Discord when, you know, we had like 5K viewers and there was just like 3 or 4 guys I was keeping in touch with. But this channel's blown up so fast. It's really been hard to just keep up with every single message. So I'm sorry if I haven't gotten back great on Discord. However, I will check Discord after I get off the stream, and then yeah, next time we'll set up the live stream. I think I might do a live stream series. Let me know if you guys would like this idea. I might do a live stream series where one of you who has like a solution or who's made it out, you know, one of you who has like a story of actual hope on like how we can actually escape this wage slave bullshit system. Like, I'll do a series where I invite like, you know, some of you on to do a live stream and a call, podcast, whatever. And then we can kind of all like go forward from there and find a solution. I've applied to over 1,000 jobs, and to have a job you need to pay car insurance, gas. Your parents will see that you make money and want to kick you out. Exactly. That's the whole paying to work thing, you know, I was talking about in the beginning. Yo, Chris, by the way, do you know what the crown with the number 1 and number 2 is? That just like the order in which they got on?
I don't exactly know. I think it says something like top ban or something, but I have no idea what it like what it correlates to.
Okay. I as far as I understand, I thought maybe it was the order like of the first 3 or 5 people that came on, but I don't know. We'll figure it out at some point, I guess. Yeah. How's Minecraft, by the way? You having fun there?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
What game do you guys want to see us play next time? Did you like Claire Obscure? What about we could play Marvel Rivals, we could play Minecraft, whatever, let me know. Please make a video for Gen Z slave normies. That is actually exactly the next video coming out, actually. By the way. We got a full-on guide on how to survive unemployment. I think we should get it out tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the next day. Yeah, be on the lookout for that. Crowns are about top. Okay. I looked at Angry Guy's content and it's usually stolen. Dude, there's some guy who's famous for stealing our content. I'm not going to name him, but you know who I'm talking about.
Me? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's a guy who copies our video literally word for word. I don't really have a problem with him because, I mean, he's just comical and good comedic relief for us. I think what he wants us to do is he wants to bait us into like exposing him and then starting drama with him, and then all of our fans are going to see his channel and he'll get a bunch of followers. So I've avoided mentioning his name, but he literally copies all of our videos like word for word sometimes. Okay, let's move on. Okay, play Expedition 33. Okay, if enough people want to see Expedition 33, well, let's say if we get like 5 more requests for Expedition 33, we'll switch to Expedition 33. But I've realized not everyone is really a gamer here, which makes sense. We're not a pure gaming channel. Make a video ranking countries you've lived in. I think I will. I don't know if people want to see it, just because I've made videos about leaving the States before, but you know, a lot of you understandably can't do that for whatever reason. You know, either you got friends, you got pets, you got family, you can't afford it. I get it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if the US gets bad enough and enough people want to leave and, you know, there's a real demand for that video, I could look into that. I'll keep it in mind. Quick thought. If YouTube videos were ever supposed to be free, they would never try to bypass your ad blocker. Any other ideas on human-made stuff that is object? Oh, 100%, dude. Like, well, first of all, like, cavemen existed for 300,000 years. Okay, money was invented, like civilization was invented with Sumeria. What was it, 10,000 years ago or something? So money wasn't even invented for like the majority of our human history. Now, if you want to say, like, I get into arguments with people like delusional boomers and corporate shows. You guys know the drill. What they'll try to say is it technically wasn't free the way cavemen lived because they still had to like walk and hunt and forage and spend time and energy to do that. Well, first of all the actual anthropological evidence, this is not my opinion, you guys can look it up, this is true, all right? Cavemen spent at most 2 to 3 hours per day doing hunting and foraging. That's all they needed to survive. If you want to say this 2 or 3 hours counts as a cost that makes it not free, okay, fine, you can say that. But it takes me probably 2 to 3 hours per day to walk to the store, do my shopping. You know, if I'm on welfare, yeah, it can take 2 hours to go to the welfare office to apply for food stamps. So if you're going to say like time also is a cost, not just money, and therefore that's why it's not free. Well then, okay, I already spent time to walk to the welfare office to apply for food stamps. So don't ask me to get a job then, if that's going to be your logic. And this is why like there's these corporate chills are like, sometimes I've learned not to get frustrated and annoyed with them. I've argued with them so much, I keep calm. But I would say the most frustrating thing about arguing them sometimes is that they're so inconsistent with their arguments and they want everything both ways. Like, you can't say that's not real socialism, yeah? Like, they've literally made it illegal to say that's not real socialism, okay? But everything wrong with capitalism is either corporatism or crony capitalism or, you know, we don't have real capitalism. Yeah, like, you can't say that's not real socialism, but everything wrong with their argument, they can justify with that's corporatism / that's not real capitalism. Thoughts on generational housing as a millennial in my GF? I have been discussing it as an option. Okay, so specifically, what do you mean here? Do you mean moving back in with your parents? Because there's absolutely zero shame in doing that. If you want to do that, everywhere else in the world does that. At every other point in human history, people lived together in multi-generational households. The reason multi-generational households went away in the first place was because in the boomer 1960s booming economy, people for the first time could afford to actually move out on their own at 18. But the rest of human history and the rest of the world, that was never the case. So for like 99% of the world and 99% of history, multi-generational household has been the way we've done things. And it makes sense to go back to that in this economy. So if I'm assuming you mean moving back with your parents, or do you mean having your own kids? And then, well, I don't think it can be that, because no one can really afford their own kids in this economy. So I'm assuming it means moving back with your parents. And yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's how people always did it. Congrats on 30K. Thanks a lot. Even though I work more than cavemen, I'm still happy to live in this time. In ancient era, people will die from getting simple cuts. Also, there are no video games. I'm not going to argue video games are awesome. Dying from simple cuts, this is a little bit of a misconception. I won't blame you for thinking this, because I thought this too till I researched a video about this. The dying from simple cuts only started in the agriculture era. Like in like after people started farming and moving into small cities and like getting crammed into small cities and living in these tight spaces with a bunch of other people and animals. That's when you started dying from staph infections easily. But in the caveman era, they were living in like wide open air spaces. Like you had like a tribe of like 20 to 50 cavemen living in a wide open space like you see in Minecraft right here. There just wasn't that much opportunity for disease to really spread. They had basic knowledge of how to treat wounds. I mean, they knew how to use plant saps and honey and stuff like that to treat wounds. So dying of a staph infection, that really wasn't a thing in the caveman era, believe it or not. I know, interesting fact. Like I didn't know myself till I did a video about this. Are you streaming with the angry guy? No, we're just showing the counter to show how close we are to catching him, basically, and taking down the biggest Gen Z hater. And we will get there. Like when we started this call to action, basically, we were at 24K. He was like at exactly 56 or a little bit under. We calculated before the stream. He gained about 700 subs since then. We gained 6,000. So by the end of the summer, we're definitely going to take down this nasty Gen Z hater. Just a horrible guy. I mean, like, you know, if you want to make these stupid Gen Z is lazy, like those dumbass videos, okay, fine. But this guy literally like celebrates Gen Z, you know, dying of, you know, like there have been some Gen Z guys. And this is why I say we don't live in the best time in human history. Like there's been a literal increase in cancer rates among young people because there's just so much stress with work on the economy. And this guy actually celebrates that. So yeah, just totally that's why I'm calling him out, actually, to be honest with y'all. Like, if he just said, I don't like Gen Z's lazy, fine. A lot of people said that. I disagree, but you're allowed to have that opinion. But, you know, to actively celebrate people getting cancer and dying young, that's just next level despicable. Absolutely despicable, horrible human being. So, yeah, got no apologies about, like, taking this guy down. Okay, let's see. Sup, man? Congrats on 30K. I don't have an Instagram, but I think I will make one soon. Did you know that in a social experiment, people who were asked to part with some of their paid food for what? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be condescending. I think you might have made a few typo here. Let me try to see if I can understand this. Did you know that in a social experiment, people who were asked to part with some of their paid for food was angry/grouchy, and a homeless guy showed no hesitation to share food? Okay, I assume, part with some of their paid food was, okay, I see now. Okay. Yeah, I believe that, because I definitely believe that. I mean, you see how greedy these billionaires are, you know, wanting to hang on to every last penny. He's gotten so unpopular, he has to go to popular topics by covering the Nintendo Switch fiasco, which every YouTuber, including me... Oh, guys, do you want to see this? This is hilarious. So, all his other shit became irrelevant. He made one... His channel has seen a bit of a resurgence recently because he made one video about Nintendo, the Nintendo fiasco, and it did relatively well. So like literally like 9 out of his last 10 videos, or more like 99 out of his last 100 videos have all been about Nintendo now. And it's the same subject over and over. For a lazy guy, for a guy who accuses Gen Z of being lazy, he's literally too lazy to even freaking he's too lazy to come up with a different title for his videos. Excuse me. I agree with you, philosophical gamer. Having opinions, we are lazy. You can have it, but celebrating the death of innocent lives should be a genuine crime. Yeah, I mean, okay, crime might be too much. I don't know if I. Oh, okay. I mean, you're. It's a metaphor, obviously. You don't mean like he should literally go to jail for it. But yeah, you know, it's absolutely a moral crime. Makes him a horrible person. Okay, let's go through thoughts on gambling. I recommend against it. There are people, like I have a friend who makes a decent amount of money sports betting because for whatever reason he just has such a natural innate talent with that. But that's like 1 in 100. It's like, you know, if you're Gary Stevenson, you can make a ton of money day trading. If you have that talent, though, go for it. You know, I'm not going to stop you, but just be aware it's very few people who are going to make money on that. If you are going to gamble, you're never going to make it on slots or blackjack or whatever. Do try sports betting. Even then, okay, by the way, this is not an endorsement or professional advice in any way, but sports betting is probably like the one way you could theoretically do it. And even that's really difficult, but it's probably like, you know, 97% of people who lose money instead of like 100% of people there. But yeah, in this economy, I don't blame anyone. When I watched The Angry Guy, I thought he was just memeing Too Close to the Sun when he said he hated Gen Z. So I got bored and unsubbed. It's really weird because, okay, and I did not expect so much of this live stream to be about Angry Guy, but that's okay. Yeah, I actually followed a lot of his stuff too in the beginning because he was talking about all the stuff we talk about, right? Like men are checking out, giving up, staying home, playing video games, and in this economy, it's actually the logical thing to do. You know, you'll see that a lot. Like men are chilling as society collapses. Like a ton of his videos are about that, right? So it's like, oh wow, this guy really gets it. But then it's like, okay, Gen Z is like the generation that gets it the most. Like all his other videos that are not about Gen Z are about like how, you know, 9 to 5 jobs are bullshit and everything like that. So his mindset totally aligns with Gen Z. And yet he hates Gen Z. So it's this weird paradox. What I suspect happened is this. Like he started making all these bullshit videos, yeah. And then blew up. And since, you know, this guy's so lazy himself, he can't really think of any new topics or stuff to do. So he just rinsed and repeated hating on Gen Z as much as he could until, you know, that shit stopped getting views too. And now he's right back to where he started. Okay, let's try to change the subject maybe. Thoughts on land value tax? Yes, this should absolutely be a thing. Here's why. Because like everybody needs land, but like, why are we paying to live on land when no one had to build the land? Like, it didn't take any human labor to build the land. Now, if you want to say we should pay for the house, okay, I can understand that. I don't necessarily agree, but I can understand that because someone did have to build the house. Yeah. Nobody built the land. So the fact that we have to pay to live on land is literally the biggest scam ever. I mean, billions of species of animals live on the land and don't have to pay for it. Cavemen never had to pay to live on the land. And this is why, not to make this about UBI again, but this is why we're entitled to it. Entitled, yes. And part of it should be funded with a land value tax. Because since we can't live off the land, like they always say, oh, if you don't like society, if you hate work so much, go live in the woods. Well, you literally legally cannot do that. People have tried and the government forced them back into society. So if the government legally takes away your natural God-given right to live on the land, if they're not going to let you do it, you know, the way caveman could, the way everyone could have, well, then they owe you some compensation for it. If they're going to say we're forcing you back into society, you have no choice. Well, then me being forced to live in society comes with a price. Nothing's free, right? You guys always say nothing's free. So if you're going to force me to participate in society without my consent, and you won't let me live on the land, you take away that right, you owe me money for it, period. Point blank, period. And thinking otherwise, makes you the cuck, like most boomers are. LVT could fund society and UBI. I haven't done the numbers, but if I definitely got to look into that and crunch the numbers on that sometime. That would be a very, very interesting topic to go down. And I even think like if you did a land value tax, you could eliminate other taxes. Because it kind of like, I get why people don't like taxes. I get it. And, people feel like, okay, we work hard and, so much of our money goes to taxes. And it's frustrating in this economy. Yeah. So maybe if we did a land value tax, it's like, okay, it doesn't make sense in a way you pay taxes on your wages because, you earned that all yourself. Not exactly, but let's just say for the sake of this conversation, you did the work, right? So you could theoretically say you deserve to keep all the money from it. But no one built the land, right? So if you're going to take over land, then yeah, it has to be taxed. It's a resource that everybody needs. So why should only a few people get to control it? UBI or UBA? I think UBI would be simpler. I haven't. That's a good question. Because in a way, UBA makes sense too. I'll have to think about that more. Okay. Did you know that with my boomer mom? Did you know that my boomer mom can't find a job even with a college degree? Not surprised. What am I saying here? Not surprised at all, or big surprise there. But here's the best part. Even though she can't get a degree herself, yeah. I'm sorry. She can't get her a job herself, even with a degree. She will shame you for not being able to get a job, even though you have a degree. She can't get a job herself, but she will surely shame you for not being able to get a job. That's the best part. Yeah. Land tax should 100% be a thing. I see more and more people are on board with this idea. I might have to look into the numbers and make a video on this. I'm curious just how much revenue a land value tax would bring. I'll have to look into that, crunch the numbers. Because it absolutely should be a thing. Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, we could even eliminate other taxes if we got that. The problem with UBI is people sometimes get addicted to drugs and contribute nothing. That's going to happen in any society. Like if your goal is like, let's just have a society where no one ever does drugs and everyone's always productive. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't see a possible solution with that. Right? Because they do it now, with or without it. Now, I don't think most people would. Like, it's not just me. The UBI studies have shown that most people would not do that. But, you can't have a policy to say, okay, we're going to like track your money to make sure you're not using drugs, because then it gets to that leads to a very slippery slope, to like my biggest fear with UBI, though I'm a huge supporter of it. The one understandable criticism and fear I understand people have is like it can lead to some authoritarian government checking your spending and, restricting you from certain stuff. So if we have a thing where like, okay, we restrict people from buying drugs with UBI. Okay, what comes after that? What else does the government decide to get to restrict people of? To be honest, I think forcing people to work is a way, way bigger contributor. Like, I think UBI would actually decrease the drug issue, though. Because think about it. How many people are on drugs right now because they can't cope with how miserable work is? Like, don't tell me, the opioid crisis isn't because people are so miserable at their jobs. Don't tell me people don't smoke and drink as a coping mechanism to cope with the miserable nature of wage slaving all day. Like, let's say you work in a warehouse, you work at McDonald's all day. Yeah. You barely make enough to live. Everyone's looking down on you. This bullshit society tells you you're shit, despite the fact that it depends on your work to keep running, right? That's the greatest paradox in all this. Could that lead to like you wanting to cope with drugs and alcohol? Yeah. I absolutely think so, and I don't think that's remotely controversial. Okay, universal basic services. That is a very interesting concept. I'll look into it more. The issue I have with that is that could get even more dystopian than UBI. Because, okay, if the government just gives you, let's say, a free house and free food, well, what happens if they take away your food? Like UBI could be just like all the people who have fears about government taking away your UBI. That can easily be solved with blockchain technology. Like we do it through decentralized blockchain, boom. No one can do jack shit about it. But if you're going to say, okay, the government, now gives you food, well, you can't distribute that on blockchain. So, there's easily a world in which they restrict you from food. And also, like, what kind of food are we getting here? Like, how do you handle that? Like, some people are vegan, some people like different foods than others. Like, do we just give everyone the same thing every day? Does everyone just get bread, or how do we handle like different dietary like preferences and necessities? That's my concern with that. And also UBI generally is better because at least in my opinion, because that money could, like, if the government just gives you food, yeah. So the advantage with UBS is it's less of an impact on inflation, right? So if the government just gives you food, it doesn't, drive up prices the way UBI could. However, having UBI, people, I believe, will use it to start businesses, to study. Like, that money will have a lot more velocity and freedom to do other stuff within the economy. Okay, let me look at some other comments here. We don't have UBI, and that's already happening with Visa. Exactly. Yeah, like all the fears people have of UBI. Oh, you're dependent on the government now. Well, by working a 9 to 5, you're dependent on a corporation. You think a corporation can't take away your paycheck for saying something you didn't like? I mean, that's really cute if you think that. Yeah. My sister's baby daddy used to shame me for not having a job. Now he's unemployed. Well, the saying, well, what is it like? First they laugh at you, then what is it like? First they disagree with you, then they laugh at you, then they see you're right, and then you win. Something like that. I don't remember. It's for sure way different than what I remember, but you guys get the idea. When did you first realize society sucked and had the idea to leave for Europe? About 12 years ago, shortly after 2012, because 2012 I was like super into politics. I was heavily, trying to support Obama. I even volunteered for him, getting people to vote for him, canvassing, doing all that, because I really, really thought he was going to save us. He didn't. Not his fault. Republicans would not have either. There's just too many problems with the system for any one politician to do shit about it. So after Obama won re-election and I realized nothing really changed at all, then I was like, okay, fuck this. Like, there has to be something different. Okay. How about government-run supermarkets like what Zoran proposed? Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. So, I don't understand. This is what I mean by capitalists are dishonest. Like, they're trying to compare this to the Soviet Union era government-run grocery stores. All right? There's no way it can be remotely compared to that. In order for it to be a Soviet policy, he would literally have to do this. He's not just starting 5 of his own grocery stores run by the government. He would have to go to every grocery store in New York City and tell them, we're taking over now. This is run by the government now. And, kick out all the management, all the ownership, yeah, and take it all over himself. And make every single grocery store in New York City government run for it to actually resemble communism, right? I know about communism because number one, I traveled a lot of like post-communist countries in my travels. And number two, I actually did some research into communism because so many people called me a communist when they're the real communists, but that's a different story. In any case, now the counter argument is that, okay, what happens is you have government-run grocery stores, yeah? And then the traditional grocery stores can no longer compete because the government grocery stores don't pay taxes and can have lower prices. So traditional grocery stores can't compete. And then eventually that's how the government takes over. That's what they say. But first of all, he's talking about 4 or 5 government-run grocery stores. There's no world, there's no universe in which 25 million people in New York City all just flock to like these 5 grocery stores now. I mean, you're going to tell me, okay, New York City, like Wall Street is in New York City. Okay, we got like the elite of elites. Like we got Wall Street traders who make like $10,000 a day there. Yeah. You really think these hedge fund managers are like going to, you know, drive all the way to like Queens or wherever these government run grocery stores are just to save like $5 on a sandwich? Like, you think these guys are going to stop eating at Red Lobster and shopping at these, you know, high-class organic grocery stores like a hedge fund manager on Wall Street? Yeah, he's really going to use a government-run grocery store. Really? Yeah, there's no way in hell like 5 government-run grocery stores take down, you know, everything in New York City. This is just more stupid Red Scare tactics. I turned 18 when Obama won his second term. Oh, okay, so we're not that far apart then. How would a UBI be implemented? I would do a robo-tax, a land value tax. I personally, this is a controversial opinion, I would cut Social Security. Social Security costs about $1.5 trillion per year, and then other welfare entitlement programs cost about 500. And I think the admin cost, the one huge advantage of UBI, this is something you should listen up to, even if, especially if you're conservative, because UBI is not necessarily even a Democrat left-right issue, but conservatives generally tend to be more against it than liberals. This is what you need to consider if you're conservative, okay? You're never going to get a society in a world where there's 0% taxes, okay? Number one, no government's ever going to do that. Number two, it would not be possible for such a society to survive, all right? And even all your favorite corporations relied on a lot of government benefits and handouts and infrastructure. So a 0% tax society is not feasible or possible. All right. So there's going to be some people that get welfare, no matter what, under any system. Okay. So do you want the government picking and choosing who gets welfare, who gets free money, or should everyone get the same fair flat amount? That's all I'm asking. Yeah. So you cut Social Security, you get rid of Social Security, get rid of like traditional welfare programs. Yeah, like stop letting the government pick and choose who gets a job or who gets welfare benefits. Everybody gets the same fair flat amount. This is equal opportunity in the very truest sense of the word. So yeah, if you're a conservative, UBI isn't necessarily better than like your perfect conservative utopia of 0% taxes, but it's significantly better than this current welfare system we have where the government picks and chooses who does it. Also, I used to be on welfare, so I know very well how this works. I knew a lot of people who had to live off welfare. UBI is not going to disincentivize work as people claim. Every single study done on it has shown that it doesn't. But traditional welfare programs do. Why? Well, because here's what happens. You're on welfare, your welfare is tied to you needing the welfare, yeah? Once you earn a certain level of income, you don't need the welfare anymore, the government takes away the welfare. So, you don't want to get a job now, because once you get the job, you lose your welfare benefits. That always happens. And that's where actual dependency comes from. With UBI, you keep it no matter what. There's no reason not to work, because once you do work, oh, now your UBI is actually money you get to save up towards, you know, a gaming system, a house, whatever. Whatever you want, you know. Okay, let me read some more comments. Tax the rich more. You guys may have noticed I don't straight up say tax the rich. I'm not against the idea and the spirit. Here's the problem. How do you actually do it? It's very complicated. One way you can do it, the better way to do it, than trying to directly tax them, I'm not against it, but they always figure out ways around it. They got accountants, they got the best like tax evaders, etc., etc. Well, first of all, okay, you tax the rich, but do you know where the government, where that money's going? Like, will that money actually go to you? You don't know that. You don't know if the government's not going to just waste it on whatever. Yeah, that's number one. But number two, a better way to do it is you tax the land, you tax their assets, you tax, like, let's say properties over, like, I would say everyone, okay, your first property, you can have that for free, okay? Or not for free, but without taxes. But if you buy a second property, that's not a property for you to live in anymore. I mean, that's not a property you're buying to live in anymore. That's a property you're doing either for rent, for as a real estate investment. And this is why the housing crisis is so bad, because houses have become an investment now and not something for people to live in. So we're not going to go communism and say, okay, you're only allowed one house. You can have as many properties as you want, but your second property and beyond are going to be necessarily heavily taxed. Then you tax their properties, and then you solve the issue of, well, what if they just move abroad? What if capital flight? What if they leave the country? Well, they can leave all they want. Their property's still going to stay. They're not going to like upend their mansion, like dig up their mansion and magically transport it to where they move to. So that's how I believe you solve that. Okay, let's see. So let's not criminalize murder because people will do it anyways. Oh, I mean, fair point. But the question is, how do you implement it? Yeah. So that's my idea. Like, you tax their assets, you tax their properties. They're not gonna like move their mansions abroad. The ad valorem tax. Yeah. By the way, how you doing, Miss K? Still enjoying that sweet Belarusian neat bucks? That must be nice. Again, don't blame you at all. In fact, you're doing it the way you should be. Well, you watch my videos, you know that. If you can get neat bucks, take it, because that's the only way to win in this society. And there's no reason to be shameful when corporations live off way more tax, government handouts. Thoughts on Gary Stevenson? Absolutely love the guy. I'd say I agree with about 99% of what he says. I'd really, really like to do a collab with him one day. One of these days. Yeah, maybe once I hit 100K or something. I'll be on his radar and we can plan something out. I think he and I would have a great conversation. Okay. Yo, Chris, how's Minecraft going, by the way?
I cannot find a normal cave, but it's going fine. I'm just trying to find something to do.
Yeah, by the way, we're still playing Minecraft, guys. Are you building anything right now, or?
No, I'm trying to find some resources. I'm probably gonna go build a house if I have time later.
Okay. Yeah, the good idea, because for our generations, us Gen Z and millennials, this is like the only place in which we're ever gonna own a house. Is in Minecraft.
Pretty much, yeah. And you don't have any limits on which you can go.
Yeah. Let's just build a house on mine. Maybe I should title this live stream, "Let's build a house on Minecraft," because we're never going to own one in real life. Are you part Russian? I am not, actually. Or are you asking Chris? Thoughts on the Forward Party? Is that Andrew Yang's party? Andrew Yang was my absolute favorite. Or what? Is that Elon Musk's new party? I think I read Andrew Yang and Elon Musk were teaming up. I really, really don't want to associate with Elon after his weird, like, alt-right psychotic breakdown that he had this last year, which he's now backtracking on. But Andrew Yang was absolutely by far my favorite political candidate ever. Okay. Let's see. Let me answer some questions here. That's the Yang dude. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what. If this channel, let's say by 2026, 2028, if this channel gets to like 1 million subs or whatever, and to a point where we have significant actual cultural influence, I'm 100% going to put all my weight behind that party. Because yeah, both the left and the right suck. They both don't really know what they're doing. Both of their systems are tremendously outdated. You know, we're not living in a society of like horses and industrial revolution machines anymore. Like, we just need new thinkers for this totally new economy and, you know, technology we're dealing with. Okay. Explain your beef with Angry Guy, new subscriber. He celebrates young people getting cancer. That should be enough said. Yeah. I don't even want a house, and my brother is worrying about me because he says things like, "Where do you live then?" Well, if you don't want a house, where do you want to live, actually? I'm not asking you the same way your brother asks you, like, where will you live? Like, where do you want to live? You want a farm, like a homestead? I'd rather be homeless and keep my mental sanity. I understand that. I understand that for sure. Yeah. Maybe, like, go out. Do, like, you could try the Eric Steve. Not Eric Steele. What am I talking about? Eric Grankvist. I'm confusing Eric Grankvist and Gary Stevenson. Like the Eric Grankvist route of just going into the woods, building your own log cabin, etc., etc. Capitalism is bad, but communism/socialism should never be the solution for it. We need better solutions. Yeah, which UBI is neither of those, but we need better solutions than just UBI too. That's just the best surface level solution I can think of, but we need to go far beyond that. I think socialism is a bit better than either communism or capitalism in this current society, but I'm no socialist either. We can absolutely find something better than socialism as well. So I talked to Angry Guy. He said he doesn't want to debate you while calling your views pro-socialism, along with criticizing your defense for Gen Z thoughts. Well, he's not going to debate me. And if he doesn't want to, you know, that's fine. I mean, you know, I can't and don't want to force him into doing it. Obviously he's you know, he's ducking here because he knows he's not going to win that debate, but yeah, if he doesn't want to, that's his choice, whatever. I guess you could say, okay, if I had to choose between capitalism, communism, and socialism, which is like asking me, you know, do I want to get shot, stabbed, or, you know, tortured to death? Yeah, like, if I had to choose between one of the three, like, which is the least evil between those three? I would say socialism is the least evil between those three. But we got to do better than that still, because we're just entering an age, you know, where none of the, like, think about it, capitalism, socialism, communism, all of these systems are hundreds of years old. You know, you don't use any system from 100 years ago or 200 years ago anymore. You know, you're not riding horses anymore. You know, you're not building like steam engines. You're not like, you're not working on a farm. You're not working in a factory. I mean, some people are, but like, you know, you guys get the point. Like, you don't use any of the technologies from back then. So why are we using the economic systems of back then? You know what I mean? Technocratic dirigism. I'll look that up. Definitely will look that up. UBI plus tax on overconsumption. I like the tax on overconsumption idea. 100%. No tax on earned income. Interesting. Very interesting. Plus affordable rent. Very interesting. Very interesting. I actually think that could work. Yeah. Consumption, the one thing people don't understand, like, consumption is a tax on the economy, on the planet, on the air we all breathe, like whether you like it or not. And yeah, once you overconsume a certain amount, there definitely should be like extra taxes on that. Yeah. No right to grow food. Door wide open for small farm closures. This goes and talks about the removal of some homesteads. Yeah, I have to. Sorry, guys. I gotta look this up a bit more. I gotta do more research on this for sure because some of you pointed out, and I did pass by some videos about this and some headlines where apparently the government even wants you to ban, even wants to ban you from growing your own food. Now, like corporations don't want you growing your own food, which is just total, complete, and utter bullshit. Like if they're gonna take away that right from you, because that's literally a right we've had. Like, who are they to force us to pay, you know, their overpriced food prices? If they're going to do that, well, number one, we should like literally riot over that. Like, you know, we should already riot over the fact that we're being forced to pay rent. But if they're going to say we can't grow our own food, that's literally cause for a riot. Like you're taking away a inalienable human right we've had for like since the beginning of human history, really. But if they go through with that, like they better give us UBI. Not only they better give us UBI, number one, they better not jack up their own food prices, number two, and they better like double the UBI if they're going to ban us from growing our own food. You know, depends what socialism and what communism. SFR Yugoslavia, Democratic Kampuchea, we're both communists, but no way comparable. Yeah, I would say that's fair. People just have umbrella terms. They can only think in black and white terms. By the way, I never asked you. Where does your favorable view from communism come from? Because I know you live in an ex-Soviet country. Like, do you have nostalgia from the Soviet days? Here's something interesting that happened, and I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know myself. I didn't have personal experience with this. From American media, all you hear about is how horrible the Soviet Union was. It could not have been as bad. I'm not saying it was a paradise. It could not have been as bad as they were saying because they made tremendous technological advancements as a nation. Yeah. And it ended up collapsing. But how much of that was actually due to socialism is debatable. And number two, they made tremendous technological progress that rivaled the US when it existed. And when I traveled a bunch of ex-Soviet countries. I'm not kidding you guys. When I talk to the older generation, every last one of them said the Soviet days were better than today. Like, I'm not saying it was. Like, I don't know. I wasn't there, right? But I'm just saying when I talk to people who lived in that era, they all say the Soviet era was better than modern day ex-USSR countries. Thoughts on Luigi? I'm really looking forward to his trial, but they're clearly burying it and, you know, trying to make us forget about it. We got to keep not just the Epstein files, we got to keep Luigi relevant. And the people will decide what to do, right? But we got to keep his, you know, story in the headlines and not forget about him. Cuz that's what they want, I feel. Even in the USSR under Stalin, you could grow some potatoes in your garden. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In 4 days, it's my 23rd birthday of Og King, the autistic genius Gen Z rebel of the system. I want to be the voice of the generation. I thought about my farm project. Happy early birthday. 23 should be a fantastic age to be. Like, we should be celebrating this, but because everyone, you know, these boomers fucked up everything so bad, you know, we're spending our youth in perpetual anxiety instead of enjoying it. But we're going to slowly build this world better. So I thought about something the other day. This is something I might make a video on. A lot of the conservative types, they're super obsessed with IQ. And, you know, they're constantly... there was this one old hater who commented on my post. I got him into so many dumbass arguments with him over this. He constantly kept saying, like, you know, meritocracy, like capitalism, like rewards IQ. Like if your IQ is high, you know, CEOs, they're all successful because they have high IQs. You realize autistic savants have, hands down, it's not even close, the highest IQs of anyone in the human population. Like a CEO's average IQ, I would guess, I mean, it's something 120, 130, I don't know. Autistic savants are like between 160 to 180. If this system actually rewarded like hard work and ingenuity and intelligence. Like autistic savants would be like the billionaires that control the world. So that's how you know it's all bullshit. Like, and what they're telling you is bullshit. Like IQ is not a predictor of success, because if it was, autistic savants would be running the world. And this is actually a perfect example of why we need UBI, why the system is bullshit. Because what happens with autistic savants, if any of you guys have seen the Rain Man, incredibly smart people, incredibly smart. They can't fit into the 9-to-5 system. They just can't, because they know the 9-to-5 is bullshit. So what happens is they have, like, I don't know if Tesla was autistic, but, the Rain Man was, a lot of these great inventors showed autistic tendencies for sure. Incredibly smart. They can't fit into the system. Sometimes either they're lucky, they have some support from the family, some support from the state, and then they go on to like invent incredible inventions that progress all of society, right? And this is why it's stupid when people say, oh, like, society is going to collapse if nobody works. Like, we have it better now because we all work, and that's why our technology is better. No, it's not. Because when's the last time someone had an incredible life-changing invention when they were working a 9-to-5? Like, you guys think, whoever invented the internet, computers, AI, you think they were like working in McDonald's or a warehouse when they had that breakthrough in ingenuity and inspiration? If anything, we could be like a star-faring utopia species that cured every disease by now, if everyone had like the time, space, and freedom to work on their own projects without being forced to work a miserable job they hate. Like, think about, like, we got 8 billion people. Let's say 7 billion are forced to work a miserable 9-to-5. If all 7 billion of these people had their time, space, and mental freedom to pursue inventions and innovations, what do you think would happen? We'd live much better, not worse. Okay. Nepotism 100%, yeah. Okay, let's see. We had this huge problem where the government prioritized heavy industry over everything else, which understandably eventually got problematic. See, this is what I like about communists. I don't necessarily like communism, but communists, I'm talking people who support communism, can at least be honest. Like, you can admit the mistakes within your own system. With capitalism, it's just like everything about it is absolutely perfect. You can't criticize it. It lifted billions of people out of poverty, which is actually a lie. But I won't get into that too much. Thoughts on the rise of modern fascism. Interesting you asked that, because we're going to make a video about it very, very soon. What do you think about the internet identification stuff? I think it's blasphemy. Yeah, we got to fight against that, because what they're doing, you know what, I'll just have to make a video about this one day. Okay. What do you think about our future? Because as people, we can't do anything for development of AI. They didn't even care about people. Sometimes I feel the future is going to be even worse. It certainly can be. This is why, it's on us, our generations. I'm saying our generations because technically I'm a millennial, but if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, there's not really much faith you guys should have in millennials. Maybe besides me. Maybe I'm the exception to this, but most people my age or older, we were just totally blue-pilled along with the rest of the boomers. We should have and could have fought back against the system. We didn't. So when I say our generations, I'm really talking about your generation, Gen Z here. Like, this is why it's so crucial your generation gets involved in politics, starts speaking out, starts upending the system. Like, instead of trying to, like, participate in the system, we have to change it. Because if we don't, yeah, the future will 100% be worse. But it's on us. And I'm starting to have hope because, we got like a socialist mayor won New York City. There's a lot of, Gen Z getting into politics now. Not only are they getting into politics, they actually won the New York City election. And so yeah, It can, the future can be better, but it's on us to make that happen. 39 years old. I feel so bad. Every day I get up to go work. Like, I feel I'm the only person in my life who sees the system is collapsing around us. I just want to change. I want to change it, just lack funds. Yeah, I know, man. Well, if there's one thing I can say is this, okay? Don't worry. Don't feel bad about your age in any way, shape, or form. Like, we're on our own timelines, guys. And don't compare yourself to other people's ages. Like, I didn't really have much going for me, to be honest, until this YouTube channel. And I'm 34. And I'm not saying this in a kind of like, oh, anybody can make it any age. But I'm just saying, what's the point of like, worrying about your age? You'll figure it out when you figure it out. If I were you, I don't know, try to revenge save. I made a bunch of videos about revenge saving. It's a tactic where, use food banks. When you're living on the bare minimum and like you're stuck in like a 9-to-5 wage slave job, the biggest challenge is food, as it keeps getting, going up and up in price. So look up my revenge saving videos. You can get your food, like between using food banks and revenge saving, you can get your food bill close to zero. A lot of you probably have to spend what, 500, 600, 700 a month on food in America now. So if you can save that money towards, like use food banks, use revenge saving, you can save that money into like, starting your own business, investing, right? Whatever, or just saving the money, and eventually moving overseas or something. That's probably your best way to start. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'll probably stream, I don't know, let's say 15, 20 minutes more. Have you seen that guy that bought a house in Bosnia for 5K? I have, and I made a video about it. Definitely check it out. That's also a nice hack. Here's another thing I was thinking you guys can try out. Yeah. Because we have a Discord, we have a community, okay? And I need to start promoting the Discord more and start putting the links in. Chris, would it be a hassle to put the link of our Discord in the chat?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, 1 second, I'll do it.
Okay. What you guys can do is this. So it's really, really like all these check out of society ways we talk about on the channel. Yeah. A lot of it's really, really hard to do by yourself. Like, let's say, for example, you want to move abroad and rent out a cheaper property. It's really hard to do it yourself because, you could go to Albania, Georgia, those countries that, give like American citizens like a free stay. You don't even need a visa to go there, but you're not going to have a job. You're not going to have income once you arrive, right? So, now the plus side is you can easily get like a decent apartment for $500 per month of rent there. So what you can do, you find a friend, maybe even 2, 3 friends, yeah, who want to do the same thing. Now you can take the journey together. And now let's say you can find like a better apartment for, let's say in the city center, a big spacious apartment overseas for, let's say $800 per month. That's very doable. Split it between the 4 of you friends. That's $200 a month for each of you. Then, you can cook together, do some revenge saving. I volunteered in a hostel when I was like escaping the 9-to-5. I became really good friends with an Italian guy. He taught me how to cook this like really cheap vegetable Italian pasta. It was so good. To be honest, you can make it taste as good as even restaurant food. You just have to know like how to play the spices and seasoning game. Like seasoning is everything, really. Like seasoning can make like a $1 shit pasta taste like, something you got at a restaurant. Yeah. So what we did, we together volunteered at the hostel for free. The hostel didn't pay, but they let us stay there for free in exchange for like working 20 hours a week. Then we would cook like these big Italian pasta dishes together. We would split it. Yeah. Like we would go to the grocery store. We bought some vegetables, bought the pasta, bought some olive oil, some Parmesan cheese. Our grocery bills would come out to like $10. We were both broke as shit back then. So we spent $10 on groceries. We would split that even further. So we were each splitting $5. We cook this Italian pasta dish together. It's enough vegetables and pasta to literally last us like 3, 4, 5 days. Like I was literally living off like $2 or $3 per day for food when I was volunteering in a hostel. And that's how I got by, is just because. So the point is, like, find a friend who you want to take this journey with. You can find a lot of like-minded individuals in our Discord. Even if you can't live in the States, let's say you have, like, you meet a couple like-minded individuals. You all have a business idea. I don't know, starting a YouTube channel, starting your own business, walking dogs, like, you know, AJ King wants to do, for example. Yeah. And then you find 3 or 4 like-minded friends and individuals. Let's say you all move into like a 3-bedroom apartment and you split it. Right. You can even do that in America, you know, like probably instead of paying like $2,000 for rent by yourself, if you split it between 2 or 3 friends, you can get it down to what, 600-700. And then you can work together on your businesses. Always try to find allies in your journey. So important, guys. Okay, let me read some comments. Spending so much. Oh, and the third reason. Thoughts on anarchism. I'm absolutely an anarchist, man, like in many different ways. I don't know if I'm a full-on anarchist in terms of the economy, although anarchism is not a bad solution for not anarcho-capitalism, that's different. But in terms of like societal rules and shit like that, anarchism's like probably the best out of compared to communism, capitalism, or socialism, let's say. Okay. Spending so much on the army, I understand times were tough, but what did we need 5 million troops for? Yeah, if you actually look at the history of the USSR, there was so much mismanagement, but like it's not like inherently meaning that like you know, socialism couldn't work. It's just like it actually did work for, what was it, like 70 years? And then a couple few, you know, wrong decisions here and there changed everything, and then the rest is history. But it's like, okay, America could have easily collapsed in the Civil War. Like, there was a civil war over slavery, which I don't care what anybody says. Slavery is absolutely a result of capitalism. This is another, I'm going to go on a quick rant again about why capitalists are dishonest. I would say half of my frustration with capitalism comes from the system itself. I don't like communism either. However, communist supporters are at least consistent and honest in their arguments. Capitalists are the most dishonest, manipulative shills ever when they argue. Here's another example. So, we can't have communism. If you want communism, that means you didn't do any research in history. Look at what happened with the Stalin gulags and how millions of people died of starvation in those famines. Okay, fine. It's debatable whether the famines were a result of communism, but if you want to pin that on communism, fine. Okay. Slavery happened under capitalism. Yeah. Like, okay, you want to blame the gulags on communism? Fine. Slavery absolutely happened as a result of capitalism. Absolutely. Like, capitalist slave owners profited so much off of slavery. But then here's what they'll say. You can't blame that on capitalism because slavery predates capitalism. Slavery happened before capitalism too. Therefore, it's not because of, you can't blame capitalism for that. Well, do you think the famine that happened, the Holodomor famine, was the first famine in human history? Like, you don't think famines happened before the Soviet Union did. So it's this weird thing where you can't blame slavery on capitalism because slavery happened before capitalism too. But they get to blame famines on communism when famines literally happened since the beginning of mankind, since agriculture was invented. So it's like, this is what I mean, they're dishonest. Like, they get to say gulags were a result of communism, even though concentration camps, slavery conditions, and famines happened way before communism did. But once you try to use their exact same logic and pin slavery on capitalism, oh, you can't do that because you know, slavery happened before capitalism too. You have to be the biggest idiot ever to think the first famine that happened in human history was with the Soviet Union. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, this is just my frustration with capitalists. It's not, part of it's with the system itself, but the other part is like people who defend capitalism are the most dishonest people ever when it comes to their arguments. Another example, that's not capitalism, it's corporatism, it's crony capitalism. Okay, so what you're saying is that's not real capitalism, right? But every time we say that's not real socialism, you throw a temper tantrum to the level where it's literally illegal to say that's not real socialism. And okay, I'm going off on another stupid, unproductive rant now, which I've already talked about in every single one of my videos. So you guys don't need to hear this again. The Gulag system, while extensive, is estimated to have held a smaller percentage of the Soviet population compared to the U.S. incarceration rate. Yeah, not just, the current U.S. incarceration rate. And we're not even including slavery. And I had a conversation with my capitalist friend about this the other day. So what he said was, okay, slavery happened way long ago, right? It's unfair to compare that to the gulags because slavery was like, 1800s, whereas the gulag was the 1900s. But if you actually look it up, slavery ended, and I'm talking about like chattel slavery here, because economic slavery never ended. But slavery ended in America officially in 1865. The gulags, I believe, started like, what year was it, the gulags? 1927 or something? So let's just say 1925. I have to look that up. So 1925 compared to 1865, that's like a 60-year difference. It's like a blink of an eye in human history. So he basically tried to say, like, it's an unfair comparison because, people were just so much backwards, so much more uneducated, I guess, in 1865 than in 1925. Like, and so yeah, like the gulags didn't happen that much after slavery when you look at human history. Okay. Are you defending communism? No, what I'm saying is capitalists are more dishonest than I'm defending, I would say, supporters of communism, not the communist system itself. Because since I'm neither a communist or a capitalist channel, I actually get criticized by both communist and capitalist, funnily enough. But what I do find is people who criticize communism at least do it, or people who support communism and criticize my channel, I say, are at least honest in their criticisms, whereas capitalists are not. Okay, yeah. Ancient slaves got treated overall better today. 100%. Look up the history, guys. I made a video about this. Yeah. Which mind you does not justify the gulag system, but it just highlights the extensive slavery the prison system is. I completely agree. Yeah. At least the communists are honest. I agree. Yeah. Not that communism, the system, is great, but like people who defend communism are actually honest, at least in their arguments. Lore-wise is Chris, your robotic roommate. We could say that. Yo, who would like to see us use more Chris? I kind of miss him, but I mean, I get everyone hates AI voices these days. But I miss Chris. I kind of, yeah, sometimes from time to time. Sometimes, hey, Chris, I'm talking to you, my editor now, Chris. I guess you kind of have the same name. Do you ever like go back and sometimes I randomly just go back and watch our early videos with like Chris's AI voice, and even though we just started the channel 1 year ago, it's a nice nostalgia hit from time to time. Do you ever do that?
Sometimes, yeah, I do. I do. Like some of the more key videos. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. By the way, guys, this is like the 1 year anniversary of our channel. Like we started this channel exactly 1 year and 1 day ago. Let's take some time to reminisce on our early days. Dude, we started our channel a year ago, but I don't want to say it feels like 10 years ago time-wise, but like with how much our videos have evolved since then, it feels like our channel has been around much longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's been more progress in time.
Yeah, because I was like watching some of our earlier videos. I went back and watched the Abomination one. And I realized, remember, we thought like that was like an epic edit at the time. You remember the Abomination? Well, of course you do.
Yeah.
And you did something new with that editing, and we thought we were the shit, dude. Like we thought we were like Magnates Media when we did that edit.
Yeah.
And then when we compare it to like our editing today, it's just, or your editing today, to be honest, it's just such a night and day difference.
I mean, the best is still yet to come. We're probably gonna have a video that like topples every other video this week, so.
Yeah. We're gonna come up with an epic banger either tomorrow. I think I'll finish the script tonight, and then we should get it out tomorrow. But we'll see. Yeah, either tomorrow or Thursday. Do you work a 9 to 5 or just do YouTube? I just do YouTube because I found a cheap place to live abroad, and I basically spend no money. I pretty much just spend money on food and an occasional video game here and there. That's it. Thoughts on accelerationist? Well, I understand like their thought process. I haven't heard many plans from them as to what they're going to do beyond that. Okay. Aside from economy, finance, and politics, can I discuss something out of? Sure, you can discuss anything you want. You want to talk about what? Dating? That's another thing people like to talk about these days. Just use more Chris, one way to say it, for sure. Can you think of any reason why when people hear universal income, they think communism? Okay, there's two different questions here, but they both have the same answer. So, number one, the people who are against universal basic income, capitalists basically, and this again goes into their dishonesty. When capitalists hear universal basic income, they think communism because they're being dishonest about it, because they know communism is a bad word that scares people. So if they can link any policy they don't like to communism, they can scare people against it, right? So that's why capitalists think of communism when they hear universal income, right? If you look at the history of communism and study it, which I did because I got called a communist so much, you won't find not one single communist country that actually implemented a universal basic income. Not one. Never been happened, never even been proposed. All right. And remember, UBI, there's been like iterations of that concept since the Roman Empire. So if communists were actually into UBI, like they would have at least proposed it at some point. Not only was it never implemented, never proposed, but the reason capitalists think of it, conflate those two terms, is because they're dishonestly trying to scare people. And the reason people who are not capitalists, who are on the fence about UBI, think communism when they hear UBI is because the dishonest capitalists have lied to them about it. That's it. So, pretty clear. Yeah, pretty clear. Easy answer. To be more specific, Tsar Alexis established it somewhere around 1615. You talking about UBI? I'll have to look into that more. UBI is essential for an ever automated world. Dude, more and more people, I see like, I don't know if it's just my audience is changing or if I'm changing people's opinions, but I'm definitely happy to see more and more people on board with the idea of UBI now. And I think, there's no going around it, getting around it in the age of automation. We're going to have it. Here's the beautiful thing about UBI is that, like, capitalism is like some people have to be poor for other people to be rich. That's just a fact. All right. With communism, no one's allowed to be rich, with the hope that it's going to result in no one being poor. Universal basic income. No one's going to be poor, but anyone still can be rich. There's nothing stopping you from going out and being a millionaire or even a billionaire once you get your UBI. Think about that too. People always say, oh, like, what happens if the government takes away your UBI? And then I say, okay, the corporations can take away your paycheck too. Oh, you can just switch to another corporation. In this job market, not that simple. But with UBI, you can also get a job still. No one's stopping you from that. And so, in fact, it's probably going to even lead to more employment, more, more innovation. Because, like, if you're trapped in a perpetual cycle of 9 to 5 wage slavery, let's say you're working like a McDonald's warehouse 8 hours a day, how are you ever going to find time to study, to advance your career, to pursue something else? Like, how? You're just not going to be able to. So yeah, once you get a UBI, like you could like, let's say you get UBI, you could just like live a minimalistic lifestyle and spend time studying and starting your own business. You could do that. You could also decide, okay, I'm going to work part-time instead of working full-time. I'm going to work part-time, 20 hours a week. UBI covers my basic living expenses. The extra money I make from working part-time, that can go into investing in whatever, investing in my education or in crypto or whatever you want to do. 9 to 5 is hell. Yeah, absolutely. You weren't the first on YouTube talking about UBI, but you definitely solidify my support. I'm glad. I'm glad. We definitely need this at this point. And more people need to be talking about this. There's more and more headlines about AI being dystopian, but no one's talking about UBI. At least not as many people as there should be. What are your thoughts on a meritocracy that's governed by AI? In other words, where AI rewards based on merit. I know that AI is somewhat compromised biased by the controllers, but still. Good question. So it sounds dystopian. It sounds awful. What I would say is this. The question we need to be asking ourselves, I don't know the answer to this, but the question we need to be asking ourselves is not, will the AI judge meritocracy perfectly? Because it's not going to. Nothing's going to. But will it judge meritocracy better than the current system we have? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know if it will, but we need to ask ourselves that question. Okay. Chris, let's stream like 10 more minutes, then we can wrap this up. How's Minecraft going? Chris, you there? Shoot. Did my...
I think you were good.
Oh, okay. I can hear you now. I can hear you. Yeah, we could go for like 10 more minutes. Yeah, so I'll be on this live stream 10 more minutes if you guys want to ask something. Ask about whatever, UBI, capitalism, communism, socialism, dating, can be anything. What you personally should do in the here and now. RIP, Chris. No, we're gonna bring him back. I think we'll use the AI voice just for like one sentence here and there. What's your PC build? This isn't my PC. It's my editor's. Do you want to tell him what your PC build is?
Yeah, I'll just write it in the chat.
Yeah, I know it's a pretty decent PC because the gaming. We decided to do the live stream through him now because his gaming PC is much more powerful than mine. Yeah. Okay. Employer will fire you for having cancer, or if you are an autistic like me who needs more time to understand instructions or work differently. Yeah, exactly. Recent UK Online Safety Act, total bullshit. We need to fight against it. The adult content protection thing is a total Trojan horse to control everything else. Iceland is now on 4 days work. I did, in fact, read some of Sterner. It was terrifying in a way, but he had points in a lot of what he was saying. It's really, really hard to find information on him, and I suspect there's a good reason for that. Generally, if it's hard to find information on somebody, it's because they're making really good points that society doesn't want you to know about. Yeah. What are your favorite countries you have been to? Good question. Let's end this maybe on a lighter note. Estonia, Lithuania, a lot of the Baltics, actually. I didn't like Latvia that much for some reason. Estonia, Lithuania, I would say. Where else did I like a lot? Denmark. Denmark was a bit expensive, but probably Danish people, I would say, are the nicest people I ever encountered. I mean, like Croatia and Italy, if you just want like good weather and scenery. But there's not much like cultural enrichment. I really, really like Romania. And funny thing, because like one of my biggest haters is actually also from Romania. We go back and forth a lot. Chris, you know that Flavius guy who's left like 500 comments on our channel, yeah?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There's some guy who's left like 500 hate comments on our channel. To be fair, a lot of it's just because he's arguing with me and I respond. So it's like responses going back and forth. But yeah, 500 total channels. Is it easy to leave US via Chinese merchant vessel if I bribe? I don't know. I've never thought about that. Can't you just take a flight somewhere? What are your thoughts on Eastern Europe? I love it. For me personally, it's a paradise. If I straight up call it a paradise, Eastern Europeans are going to disagree with me. So I'm not going to go that far in actually calling it a paradise. But for me personally, it's a paradise. Just for reference, I was talking about the gulags in 1650. Not. Oh, okay, makes sense. Yeah, so yeah, we had gulags way before communism, right? But the gulags are 100% the fall of communism. Well, we had slavery before capitalism, but you're not allowed to say slavery was a result of capitalism because it happened before. This is why capitalists are dishonest, and there's so many dishonest double standards with every single one of their arguments. Okay. I'm from Romania too. Love Romania. Yeah, I don't know if it's so easy to go there anymore because, like with a lot of things, Andrew Tate probably oversaturated that. But if you can still try to move there, definitely. Brasov is to this day my favorite city in all of Europe, guys. Look up Brasov. Like when I was like traveling around, Brasov, beautiful city, very cheap too. I found a hostel where I could stay in one of the most beautiful cities in all of Europe. Cost me $8 per night to stay in a hostel in Brasov, guys. $8 per night. I had like a few thousand saved up, and I was doing like some online English tutoring, English teaching gigs here and there. So I was making something like $20, $30 per day, like just enough to survive. And my lifeline was that I was able to like live in a cheap hostel in Brasov, basically. $8 a night to live in a pretty nice hostel in like my favorite city in Europe by far. Food and everything's also cheap there. I think I calculated. So I spent $8 per night on the hotel. I was also able to get like a cheap Romanian pastry and a pasta for like, my food budget was like, I want to say like $3 per day there. So hostel, $8 per night. I was spending like $3 per day on food. So my total daily budget was $11 per day. So that meant for a whole month I was, and then, you know, of course, got toothpaste, toothbrush, little shit like there, here and there. So I'd say in total, my living expenses were like $400 a month in the time I spent in Brasov. That was when I was doing my revenge saving to basically get by when I was an unemployed loser, and still am. I live in the suburbs of Bucharest. I've never been to the suburbs. I really like the people in Bucharest. Not a huge fan of the city itself. I'm sure you'll understand what I mean. Although the old town is very nice. What are your thoughts on South America? I heard it's cheap, but I heard a lot of places are dangerous, but I've never been there, so I can't say for sure. Yeah. Slavery is capitalism. 100%, yeah. Just be a minimalist. Easy to move around, be nomadic. Exactly. And we're back to communism and capitalism now. Okay, I'm gonna answer this final question, then I think we'll wrap this up. What are your favorite games? Chris, you want to join in on this too? You can give your favorite games list first, and then I'll give mine.
I can, but I haven't really played that many games in general.
Let's just say over the course of your lifetime.
I mean, the one that's stuck with me the most is CS2, like Counter-Strike 2, for sure. I like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Assassin's Creed 3, because that's like the only two I played heavily.
Odyssey is awesome, but 3 as well. You like 3? I haven't played 3.
It was the first game I played, the first story game that I played like fully, you know. So I got really immersed.
Oh right, that came out like when you were just a kid and getting into gaming, huh?
Yeah, but I played like a while after that. Yeah, it was like
yeah. Okay,
that's pretty much
okay.
I'd say Minecraft was a big part of my childhood as well, but I haven't really gone back to it that much. Yeah, I haven't experienced right now, so yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, and then I would say for me, favorite games all time. Okay, A lot of you are Gen Z. Some of you aren't going to remember these. GTA San Andreas was magic. Like, if you look at the graphics now, it's objectively shit compared to anything now. But there was just something so magic about that gaming experience. I can't quite put or I could explain it, but it would probably take a whole video to do so. So let's start out GTA San Andreas. As toxic and horrible as League of Legends is for your mental health, that game did distract me and get me through a lot of my tough times. So I'll put League of Legends up there. So we got League of Legends, GTA San Andreas. I think GTA 5 has to be there just for the straight up legacy it's left. Okay, these are all mainstream games though. Let's see, do I have any that I would also say Odyssey. Like, I liked Odyssey. I know a lot of people didn't, but I think about Odyssey, even if it was just straight up a walking simulator, like the scenery and the maps were just so gorgeous and fun to explore that even if like there was no combat and no story, that would have been a game worth playing. So I know the story and everything else wasn't the best, but the scenery and the exploration was so good in that game. I'll give it a pass for that. So I'll put Odyssey there too. Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, I sound like a Rockstar shill now. I just realized that. Because everything I say has been, but Red Dead Redemption 2, objectively fantastic story. Horizon Zero Dawn, also a great story. Detroit Become Human. And then I would say more recently, Clair Obscur is looking promising, but I haven't finished it yet. But so far, midway through, I would say it's living up to the hype 100% for me. But I'll give a full review once I finish it. And let's see. Can I think of any other games? Horizon Zero Dawn, Detroit Become Human. There's probably some honorable mentions I can't quite think of now, but yeah, I'll oh, Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, totally. Oh, you think it's better than RDR2? I'm not so sure. I'm actually not so sure. I love Ghost of Tsushima too. I personally would give RDR2 a slight edge over Ghost of Tsushima, but it's close. I'm with you that it's close. Have you played Baldur's Gate 3? I have, and I know it's a great game, but
you're cutting up a lot right now, like a lot on the microphone. One second, boy.
Okay, I'm on my computer microphone now. My current one stopped. You hear me though? At least I know the sound quality. Okay,
you're back.
Okay, I think on that note we can just wrap up the stream. Actually, so yeah, my mic stopped working now, and we're about to wrap up the stream anyway. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Uncharted series, good, but I wouldn't quite put it in like my favorite games ever. But honorable mention for sure. Okay, yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. We're gonna try to do live streams more often. It's just like we were gonna do one at 20K, but then like it just exploded so fast. Like one day it was 20K, then it was 25, and then the next it was 30 already. So that's kind of what happened. But yeah, we'll definitely do live streams more. We're gonna drop a banger of a video either tomorrow or the next day, so be on the lookout for that, guys. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the tips. Hope you enjoyed this ad-free stream. Microphone went on unemployment. Okay, you're funny too, I see. Pretty cool. All right, thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys next time. Yeah, you can go ahead and end the stream.
Yeah, have a good day, guys. Yeah.